What's up, everybody? It's Joey G, every girl's wet dream. What's going on? Yes, I left off my last show. Dana Brooke, very hot. Matter of fact, I mean, except since she goes like this, I don't like them flex chicks, them muscle chicks, them brute chicks. I don't like that. It's butch. I don't like that. But Dana Brooke is very hot. I mean, she has nice boobs. I mean, excuse my language. I'm just, there's nothing wrong with glorifying and decorating a female. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know what I mean? Dana Brooke is very hot. She's very pretty. But I went back on NXT, some tapings of her, and she just I remember when she was in Emma in NXT, and Emma used to do that goofy dance like that fucking, excuse my language. Sorry Jesus, I'm trying to stop cursing, but Dana White was just standing there Dana Brooke was just standing there, you know what I mean? But now she's got that attitude, and I just looked at the fallout after she beat Becky Lynch for the second time. She beat her on SmackDown, and she beat her on Raw Monday night, and I left that out on my Raw recap. And she had the backstage interview with Tom Phillips, and she just is slamming. I mean, besides for the flex, she is beautiful. Dana Brooke, beautiful. I keep saying Dana White. What do you call it? Dana Brooke is, I like Paige. Paige is the hot. Stephanie's number one. She's the hottest of all of them. All the women in WWE, Stephanie McMahon is number one. Paige is number two. Like I said, I'm not just saying a countdown for divas. This is how I'm going to tell you how to start a wrestling company in a second. But I'm just saying, Stephanie McMahon, Paige, and I don't have to say Dana Brooke. I don't like Sasha Banks. I don't think with the big deal. She's all right. I don't see the hotness of her. She don't give me a stick or nothing. You know what I mean? So I really don't see I don't think Becky Lynch is that hot. I like Charlotte. Charlotte's got nice noggers. Her face is a little bent, like I said before. But off the top of my head, Stephanie, Paige, and Dana White. I'm sorry, Dana Brooke. Stephanie McMahon, Paige, and Dana Brooke. The three hottest there's in WWE right now. There's no doubt about it. Paige is just slamming. Nikki Bella, but she's not really there anymore. She's hottest, and Brie, she's hot too. But they're the top three. Paige, I still think, is probably my favorite and my hottest. Okay. How to start a wrestling company. And this put on, just listen to what I'm saying. Hopefully somebody will get this. And this is what I would do if I had the money, which I do have the money, and I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? Because if you remember, Paul Heyman started a wrestling company with his bar mitzvah money, okay? And I'm Jewish, and I don't have my bar mitzvah money. But, I'm half Jewish. But I don't think I have enough money to start a wrestling company. I can maybe have to get loans. You got to pay talent. But whatever. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I was in that position. Okay. What I would do is TNA, Impact, Ring of Honor, and yeah, that's about it. TNA, Ring of Honor, few indies, whoever the best indie wrestlers are. Some from Japan, some from Mexico. Bring them all in. Start one company. TNW. Total Nonstop Wrestling. You never hear the word wrestling anymore. Not Total Nonstop Action. Total Nonstop Wrestling. Yeah, promos, comedy, and all that. But mainly, you're going to see good wrestling. Men and females. You know what I mean? I'll have some trust me, I love the females. You know what I mean? But you will see some great female matches and men matches. You know what I mean? And to compete with Vince McMahon. At least, maybe not to be right up there with Vince McMahon, but to at least say, okay, well, if we can't make it in WWE, we'll go to TNW. You know what I mean? And this is what I would do. First thing you got to do is you got to hire a creative team. You got to hire a head of your creative team. And who I would have for that creative team? Simple. Scott Hall. One of the smartest minds, geniuses in the business. Scott has his demons. Yes, he does. And Jake the Snake. Both have demons. But both are two of the smartest men ever in wrestling. Just them two. And I got a few other ones too. But just for their credentials, Scott Hall single-handedly came out with that Crow idea. That was all him. And he just came from that from Sting combing his hair. And Scott just got there. It was the day Scott got there. May 27th, May 27th, 1996 in Macon. It was right after Scott did all that and Sting slapped him. And they were in the back and Sting was doing his hair and Scott said, why don't you ever see the Crow, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying to bite off Taker, but bite off Taker. You know what I mean? And Sting didn't really bite off Taker, but he came up with that gimmick. Scott Hall came up with a lot of ideas. A lot of the NWO. A lot of the Attitude Era was all from Scott Hall's mind. And Kevin Nash, another guy that I put on the creative team. I don't know if I put Kev in there because, I think Scott would fit that position more. Scott's a little more humble. I'd put Scott in there. Jake just has them great angles. I mean, where, like, he came up with that whole Austin 316 thing. I mean, he had a thing where he was going to have Austin, the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill thy parents unless they're assholes. Thou shalt not kill the girlfriend unless caught cheating. Like, it was a Ten Commandment shirt, and Jake says, I wish I could have had that shirt out. Jake came up with all that. That was all his idea. Truth, and not just that, they just have great minds. The way matches should end, the way they should go. Scott Hall knows how to put over. Like, for instance, one time I was at a Nitro in Philadelphia, and Scott Hall talks about this in a lot of interviews. And Kevin Nash talks about it on his timeline, 1997. He was fighting. I was at the Nitro. He fought. It was April 13th, 1997, at Nitro at the Philly Spectrum. Scott Hall fought Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was young and green then. He was the blonde-haired guy doing flips. He was kind of corny. He was a face still. But he had talent. And I even knew he had talent. I mean, and I was a big NWO mark back then, but I didn't really like Chris Jericho, but you knew he had talent. You know what I mean? He was like a WWF guy, WWE guy, living in a WCW world. And Scott Hall said, what do I get for beating him? Like, I'm already over. I could go out here and go on a losing streak it was April, from now until September, 6 months later, October, and I'll still be over. And people will still go and, hey, yo. You know what I mean? But what am I going to gain off of beating this dude? This kid's good. He beats me. He's got something to spring off of. I'm not saying Scott Hall made Chris Jericho's career, but a couple months later, Chris Jericho had Ralph. Listen, Chris Jericho was one of the main things on Monday Nitro. And then pretty soon had his own shirt that said Monday Nitro. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, the NWO had them shirts. So Chris Jericho was pretty big, all from Scott Hall. Jake the Snake, another guy, DDP. DDP, I don't like him. I don't like that yoga shit and all that. I'm not a big fan of DDP, but he knows the business. He knows what works and what doesn't work. Zeb Colter, if I could get him in there, he knows the business. Jim Cornette, I don't agree with him a whole lot. He's another guy that I would get the book, knows the business. I don't agree with Jim Cornette. All his values, he doesn't believe in God. He's a big-time liberal. I'm not. But you know what? I would hang with Jim Cornette any day, 24/7, because the guy has passion and love for the business just like I do. And I love the WWE. And I wouldn't try to smash the WWE. But what I would do is this would be TNW. And then I would have my creative team. And then you have to go out and you got to get big stars, like WCW did. They got Hogan. And Hogan's not with WWE right now. Hogan can't wrestle, let's face it. He's going to be 63 years old. You know what I mean? But I would get Hulk Hogan as an ambassador. For my, you could have him saying, TNW, come, and I would put it on Wednesday nights. It would be on Wednesday nights. I wouldn't go head-to-head with Raw. I wouldn't even go head-to-head with SmackDown. SmackDown sucks. And personally, I think I could beat SmackDown with TNW. I really do. Raw? No. I don't know about beating SmackDown because SmackDown has their audience, but I'll tell you, I'd be up there with them because SmackDown ain't that great of a show. It's really, really not. But, I mean, the wrestling fans are just dying for this. And this is what I would do. This is exactly what I would do. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Want to put it on at 9, school night for the kids. You always got to remember, the kids are, even to the to 12th grade, you know what I mean? They're what you're monitoring towards. The middle school to high school to college. Basically, the age length, which I'm not really, going at the little kids. They want to watch it, that's great. Or from middle school to high school to college. That's my age length. I would say from the ages of 11 to 24. 12 to 24. That's the age length I'd be looking for TNW. Then you have to get a star. I would get Hulk Hogan as an ambassador saying this is when the show will be on. Maybe even put him as the president or the general manager of the show. You got to get a big name wrestler in the ring. You go out and get a Goldberg. You go out and get a Batista. You go out, get Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? You got to get big name stars along with these other guys. You got to get big name stars too. See if CM Punk would come. I wouldn't, if there's a big company on the rise, and if I'm running it and I could talk to CM Punk, I think I can get him to sign. You get a guy like him, Angle, somebody. You know what I mean? So, a couple big names. Matt Hardy too. Bring in the young talent, EC3. Bring him in. You know what I mean? Talent in WWE that's not being used right. Vince lets them out like Wade Barrett, bring him over. Damian Sandow, definitely bring him over. Alex Riley, Bring him. You know what I mean? It's just you have to do that. Divas or women. There's plenty. Get AJ Lee back in there. If Punk comes back, get her back in there. Candice Michelle, whatever happened to her. Try to get Tori back. You know what I mean? It's almost like a retro of what WCW did to WWF, but hey, you do what you got to do. Because there's a lot of people in WWF, or WWF, I still call it WWF because it's WWF to me. But there's a lot of guys in WWE right now that don't want to be there, that Vince would let out. Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, the guys that I would bring to TNW and make great. And with Jake the Snake and Scott Hall writing it, it would be great. And I wouldn't come out with a TNW network. I'm not going to do that. But what I would do is I would have events. I would have my first event. Yeah, I would have it. I have to have it at pay-per-view. You got to make some money. I would have it for $19.99, the first one, and I don't know what I would call it. You know what I mean? Maybe the Big Bang. That's what WCW was going to call their one if Eric Bischoff would have bought it. If Vince McMahon didn't buy it, something I would call it. Something with a beginning. Maybe just the beginning. I don't know what I would call it, but I would have a first pay-per-view just for the tournament for the TNW World Championship. Play-by-play. Jim Ross and Matt Striker. Flat out, right at ringside. Not up by the rampway, right at the ringside. Just how, right there. Just right there how they used to be on Raw. I would actually try to go get the King, and that would definitely be like the old days how WCW got Bobby the Brain and Mean Gene. It would be. I mean, I'd be getting the King and JR, but hey, the King and JR would be great. And that would, just JR's voice. Just JR's voice on another wrestling show would get the channel change. Just hearing JR. Like, this is going to be a good match tonight. This is going to be a slobber knocker. You know what I mean? Austin, it's Angle. Kurt Angle's back. Batista, Goldberg. People would just switch right to Jim Ross. And then you got Matt Striker. What's up, Matt? I know Matt. Great play-by-play. Taz. I'd get Taz in there. I mean, I would have a three-man. I think three's too much. Then I would have, Taz doing interviews, like an interview guy backstage. I would have JR and Matt Striker doing play-by-play. You know what I mean? I would, bring in tag teams. If not, I would make tag teams. You know what I mean? I would have people there for creative storylines. You know what I mean? I mean, Scott Hall, like I said before, Scott Hall, Jake Roberts, DDP, Zeb Coulter. I would get guys that know the business to help, I would. And Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, and I'm going to do a show on them. They can't work together, but if Cornette wasn't there, I would bring Vince Russo in as a consultant. No power, just as a consultant. Just to say, maybe we could put this on it. Put a little bit of this on it. A little spice, a little mix. Never I would let Vince Russo have full creative control. Never. Because you'd have a guy like fucking John Stamos winning the TNW world title. You know what I mean? So, no. Cut that. Excuse my language, too. But I would really, and then I wouldn't start busting on WWE. I would take time and times. I would tell my talent to go out and take a shot at them. Yeah, it's the business. It's cutthroat. I wouldn't go out there and give their ratings away or nothing like that if their show was taped. I wouldn't, there's a big machine. I have nothing but respect for WWE. But I would make my wrestling show about wrestling. And you know what I mean? If you want to go watch the entertainment stuff, and I love Raw and I love the WWE, then that's your product. But TNW would be strictly wrestling. You would have your great angles, but you would have it good. I would know what to do with the camera, the lighting, the TV production. And the thing is, where would I have it at? And that's what I'm going to tell you. I would base it, personally, where I would like to base my wrestling company would be Vegas. Not like the AWA did at the Showboat, but I would want to do it in Vegas because, not Disney World, you know what I mean? Because that's already been done. Impact's down there anyway. Maybe Disneyland, if I could do that, because, you bring in the free crowd. But, hey, they get, and you make it good. You know what I mean? And you stick in one arena, in the one, auditorium, whatever, in the beginning. And then you grow, and you grow, and you grow. You got to know how to manage talent. Had to have the right people. I mean, WWF's got all the WCW Nitro rejects running back there. Like I said before, John Laurinaitis, Dean Malenko. And I like Dean Malenko. I don't like John Laurinaitis. So what do you call it? Dean Malenko, Double A. They're great guys, but they're all from the WCW. Finley, they're all from WCW. They're all the guys that ran WCW Nitro. Because everybody else got sick of Vince's shit and left. But Vince is a good promoter and knows how to run a business. But this is TNW. I'll give some more pictures of what I would do with it. But, that's kind of how you start a wrestling company. This is Joey G. I'm out. Subscribe. Lots more to come. Trust me. This is Joey G. TNW. Total Nonstop Wrestling. Peace.